Good morning. Let's get started. Super exciting day. We have a new algo in the mix. Testing it out today. For the first time, so working out some kinks still, but super excited for this one. Let's see here. This is the back test for this strategy. Not totally up to date, but pretty similar to the current iteration of it. Remove starting soon. Got it. Thank you. So yeah, anyways, there's the back test results. So you can see it kind of struggled a little bit towards the beginning of the year, and this is a short strategy. So the algo kind of struggled during this really hot period. So this is when things were pretty crazy. And as things chilled out, it started doing better, quite a bit better. So we'll see with this latest run how this area looks now, because I think I cut out a lot of that junk. So I'll have to update that later and see what that looks like. But those are 5K positions. So that's the strat we're running today, along with this one. So we have this one running. This one's running too. Another short strat. Here's another one. So those are the short strats. We have long. Another long strat. And another long strat. So we have 6 strats running right now. But the latest one is the most promising, I would say, just because of the pure volume of trades it can take. And the results are pretty good. So we'll see how it does live. Starting with some small positions. And we're going to just compound it. So let's see how we do. AIP, we have, this one has earnings in after hours, so we are short this one. Not my favorite with the earnings in after hours, but maybe it's fine. We'll see what it can do. Usually these things run up into earnings, but maybe it will pull back here. I don't know. So AIP, what is this stock exactly? Just running on earnings. They announced a deal with AMD for its next generation AI chipset design. So that's the news. Pretty good news. But we've seen some of these have great news and they still don't do amazing. Plus the earnings is coming up this afternoon. We'll just we'll let Al handle it. All right, SMXT, what is this? Awarded 127 million EPC contract for batteries in Texas. Battery storage. So it was integrated solar energy company. So they're providing some batteries for $127 million contract. Or that will be the revenue generated. Pretty good, but again, 127 million is peanuts. Really. So I like this one better than the other one. This one is an acquisition, it looks like, or buyout acquisition. Lobo running off of a bounce here. This almost hits one of those long strategies. Not quite, though. Not quite, though. Maybe I need to run that one in pre-market and see how it does, too. Something to think about. Something to think about. Let me write that down. Run in pre-market. And Lobo is the example. I saw one yesterday too that did that, and we brought it up too. What was that one? Doesn't matter. No new news on Lobo. It looks like... Wait a minute. Okay. No. ADAP too cheap. LiDAR's back. So this one's bouncing. This was a recent runner. Kind of bouncing back up. Usually these are going to be bounce shorts. STTK. Looks like a biotech. Yeah, biotech company. Entering into securities purchase agreement for a private placement financing. Proceeds will be $100 million. You know, not the greatest news. Not bad. Enough to make it move. That's what we like to see. Yeah, Tesla's at 308.50. 308.10 now. Testing 308. Let's see, that looks like all the pre-market gappers. Let's take a peek at Tesla. Kind of in an interesting spot. Let me pull up the Tesla algo. So the Tesla algo is short still. This is a swing short strategy, or not short, but it's a swing trading strategy for Tesla and any stocks, bigger cap stocks that like to move nicely. So it is short from 318.90. So it's up 20K on this position. And it's still short. Obviously, this thing isn't perfect. And you can see back over here even, it was long at 313 really nicely. Never sold into this move up. Ended up being kind of a scratch trade. So it's not perfect how it runs, but it's pretty good. And maybe you don't want to go against it, because look at that, it's up 640,000 since 2023 January. $2.8 profit factor. That's pretty good. So it's done 300,000 long, 200,000 short. And versus buy and hold, you would be up 68,000. So if you just held the stock, you'd be up 68,000. If you trade it, you're up 600,000. Kind of crazy since 2023. Obviously, none of this stuff is perfect, but it does give us an idea of what's going on. So I do have some swings on right now. Just opened them up because look at this. Okay. Microsoft. Pretty insane move on earnings. This is a huge indicator for the market, in my opinion. You've got Microsoft, which trades, I don't know, just grinds up. It only goes up. It trades like a Chinese pump and dump, basically. It just grinds its way up, straight up, perfectly, a perfect grade here. This is a perfect angle. It's just holding all the way up. Really bizarre. But this looks basically exactly like a Chinese pump and dump would. So kind of interesting how that looks, but that's how it trades. And now on earnings, it's gapped up huge. Incredible gap up. All-time high, of course. And then it pulled back and filled the gap on the dip. The dip is filled. The gap is filled. And now it is pretty much back up from where it was, this day right here where it filled the gap. So that was a big red day. Came down. And now yesterday it's right back up. It is simply right back up. So now the question is it going to make its way back up to the all-time high area and continue higher and go back into this kind of bizarre looking forever gradual uptrend? That's the big question for me. And if it doesn't pull back, then yeah, I don't know. We just had sort of a bear market back here in April. This was the perfect place to buy stocks. Trump told us that, by the way. Trump said, good time to buy stocks. It's a good time to buy stocks. Probably should buy some stocks. Okay, that was in April. And this has just gone straight up since then. Pretty insane. You'd be up 40, 50% on Microsoft if you bought that dip. So pretty wild stuff. Yeah, he also said keep your Bitcoin. Never sell your Bitcoin. That's what they say. Never sell your Bitcoin. Yeah, of course, Bitcoin is also up pretty big since then. Similar looking pattern to Microsoft, SPY, Nvidia. And what's going to be interesting with Bitcoin here is it is holding a flag right here, and it's kind of broken down out of the flag a little bit. But what happened last time, whenever it did something like that, we had these sort of series of lower lows until it broke out eventually. So could easily be setting up for a move higher. And now if this reclaims 120, I think it's off. I think it's going to 150, 140, 150 next. Before the end of the year, that would be my guess. If it can reclaim 120 soon, that would be my guess. So it's hanging out pretty nicely. Holding the highs, consolidating at the highs, that's all it's doing. That's all it's doing. Until this breaks a major moving average like the 200. If this falls under the 200, we're in trouble, probably. Because look at that, it held the 200 all the way up for years. And then, yeah, back here, obviously, this was a big crack. Came back, bounced back to all-time highs, and then triggered this bear market. Well, this was just the bear market, but everything kind of looked like this in the bear market. And then it reclaimed the 200 again. Boom. It doesn't fail the 200 in an uptrend. Morning, Scotty. So it's going to be interesting a few months here for Bitcoin. It's in a really interesting spot. These drone plays are here. Jobby, in particular, is looking like the main one. And we have, I lost the news, but government news with drones. They're trying to make drones great again or something. And there's all these contracts going out on drones, and they're talking about doing more. So Jobby is looking absolutely insane. Just huge uptrend. Held this flag. Beautiful breakout. Amazing. Everything you could ask for, really. Except maybe, if it could have held a little bit longer in this flag, that would have been nice. But it was too strong, so it just kept going up. And it does seem like the best thing to do in these cases is buy this consolidation. It's a flag, trade it like a flag. For a swing trade, and I'm talking about swings here. But when you get something that's hot like that, it's going up. It's flagging nicely. That's a case for maybe buying a flag. Try and catch the next leg up. And that can keep going. This could go to 30 bucks. Pretty impressive. Kind of like MP. MP was minerals. Another one with government contracts going on. This is the rare earth stock in California. All-time highs, just keeps going higher. Pretty insane. I just missed it in the 30s over here. I was going to buy this pullback, but they had news and it popped. So unfortunately, we just missed that one. Too many lines on this thing. All right. Bud Light pretty much got decimated on earnings. It's one of those things where it seems like, I don't know, it's like everyone was prepping for a move higher, but then, earnings is coming out, and now huge gap down on earnings. So it's almost like a failed breakout here into a gap down, liquidation type play on small caps. A lot of similarities in the big caps here. It's kind of crazy stuff going on. Mega gap down. Now, I was short Bud over here. I ended up cutting it for break even. But this is what I was hoping would happen. It was a little choppier than I thought. But yeah, you can see that whenever it came back under this moving average, that might have been the place to try another swing short. Kind of interesting. AMD, crazy move. Super impressive. Obviously, AI is going to be the future. So all these chip stocks are going to be pretty strong. Like Nvidia, now it's going to be difficult maybe to judge the bubble, because this time's different, right? When there's a bubble, this time's always different. This time it's not going to pop. But it's probably going to pop at some point. I don't know how sustainable this move is, but AI is a pretty big deal. Still think this is going to pop eventually. Just like the dot-com bubble, it's pretty much the same thing. The internet changed the world. There was still a bubble in the market in 2000. Yeah, there's the dot-com bubble on NVIDIA. Pretty amazing. I think this looks like it actually sustained longer than everything else, because I think everything else popped in 2000. But NVIDIA kept going until 2002, and then it did come all the way back down. So it's still, I think we're going to still see something like that again eventually. Unless this time is different. That's what they always say. All right, 2 minutes to the bell, guys. Good luck. We have 3 shorts on right now. AIP, STTK, and YMAB. Doing some small positions. Testing out a new strategy today. Super excited about it. Oh, this one sucks. Let me get out of this one. That happens. That does happen sometimes. We don't like that one. Yeah, I'll just let it manage itself. I don't care. Yeah. We try to cut these ones out, but it's difficult to automate. You would think this would be easy to filter, but it's just not. All right, I see a couple things on the watch list from Scotty and Dennis. JPM. Let's look at JPM. JPM is, I don't know, it's kind of one of those stocks that likes to just go up. Sometimes it has nice pullbacks. You know, when I look at it on the 2-hour chart, where's the trades? There's one right here. This is a pretty good one. That was a waterfall open. And that's the main, probably the main one on JPM. This one's decent right here too. But I don't know, in my opinion, JPM isn't the best trader, so I like the other ones like Coinbase or Tesla. Oh, Nike spiking nicely. Apple is looking like it's in a downtrend. Tesla's having a pop and drop open. Yep. Unity earnings this week going to be interesting. Unity's been on a nice run. But, you know, probably just to run up into earnings and fail, I think. Amazing moves, though. Trend breaks. This is what I like to swing. Exactly what I like to swing. But I'd be out of that one. Impressive move, though. I bought several swings yesterday. You know, just gonna hold those for probably month or two. We'll see. So I do have Nike, Intel, PayPal, and a tiny position on Tilray. We've done good on Tilray in the past. Lobo, nice bounce on this. Ooh, AIP looking good. This is the one with earnings today. Looking like a gap and grab type of move. Wow, big push from Intel. Maybe should have bought more. Who knows though? Pretty sick. Was there news? Intel's next PC chip beset by manufacturing challenges. Uh-oh. Looks like the market likes that news. Manufacturing challenges. Uh-oh. Stock goes up. That's what we like to see. All right, I am thinking Apple today will be another fade. What an amazing bounce yesterday on Apple and fade. So much opportunity there. Insane. All it did was bounce right into this resistance and come right back down. Super impressive. Wouldn't be surprised if today is a fade. I'll take some on that idea. $204 stop. Looking for more continuation to the downside on Apple. You know, I don't know. I don't want to short it. I feel like I want to buy Apple, but it's kind of in a nasty downtrend. We'll see if it holds up today or not, but just strictly off of the action. Let's see if the algo agrees. I think it does. Yeah, the algo is short from 212 to 11. So I don't know. We'll see. So far, it's just a big bear flag. So we'll see. I think Apple down. Apple will go down, me think. Just for a day trade, you know, I'm not looking for anything crazy. But, you know, maybe down to 200 bucks. The earnings was super annoying because it gapped up and it looked super nice, but then the follow through the next day was just terrible. Sucks because I was long in the 207s overnight and cut it the next day for break even. So we'll see. I really want to see Apple hold though. Yeah, and really, if everything's going to continue higher, then Apple will probably hold a dip and just catch up. But right now, it looks like it's in kind of a bad spot. So yeah, Apple for the market, I would love to see it hold up and do really well. But based on the action, looks like down. So people are saying they're behind on AI. Maybe they're going to do an acquisition of some AI company. CEO did say that that was on the table. See how that shakes out. A lot of uncertainties. Wow, Intel just rocket ship straight up. Honestly, with Intel, I want to see this gap fill. I want to see a gap fill. 2260. We'll see if it plays out like D-Dog. Tesla looking good. Holding that bottom wedge again. Sort of broke out of it and then reclaimed it. And holding again now. That's a pretty big hold. Trump says JP Morgan, Bank of America denied him as a customer. That's why he's the crypto president. Let me take a look at PayPal really quick. Okay, PayPal down a little bit. Intel's up. Oh wow, Tilray's up now too. So I got Tilray at 61 cents. This is the plan on Tilray. It's kind of an interesting one. So you see how this back over here, this is the whole strat. So you got this move up back over here. Let me zoom in on this. Huge move up. All right, pull back below the moving average. And when it did that, it held the dip. Reclaim, on the reclaim here, it pushed higher highs. Okay, now look at today. This is the exact same pattern. You have kind of a two move up, two legs up, sort of back below the moving average for the first time. And then if it reclaims this, this could push higher highs. And it seems like weed likes to run towards the end of the year a lot of times. So I don't know. There's a chance that this does push towards $1. So far it's looking good. But that's the idea. PayPal looking like it has some relative weakness compared to everything else. Nice entry on Tilray. Thank you. Yeah. So those are all the swings I'm in right now. SMXT continuing higher. Impressive strength. Had some small caps yesterday running too. Lobo was just a super nice short setup. All right, STTK is threatening to squeeze. It hasn't decided who it wants to destroy yet. Potential squeeze coming though. It could just also crack. So hopefully this doesn't go much more. We are short still. Testing out this new strategy. So Verb was pretty strong yesterday. That was a big runner in small caps. So this thing is either teasing a squeeze or it's about to just crack and break down. Impossible to know. Strictly a numbers game at this point. What are the odds? We play the odds. Gotta know the odds to play the odds too. Apple's holding pretty strong, so I'm gonna get stopped out on that short. Ah, there we go. STTK cracked. I'm still barely surviving my Apple short, so hopefully that's the top for me. Uh-oh, mate, I just talked top tick. Duh, I can't speak. Top ticked apple so far. Think I'm just done with that idea though. Let me check in on Coinbase. See how we're doing over here. Pretty brutal sell-off on Coinbase. It's insane. 440 down to 307, 303, 302. And on top of that, it had a super nice trend break here, which was a fake out into earnings. That's why we got to be really careful about trading earnings stuff. So far, Tesla's following the short algo pretty nicely. Even though it's reclaimed this trend, it's still kind of proving itself in this wedge. Big top wick this morning, so now it's testing that. It's testing a dip again, so we'll see if it holds the dip. But the bounce short for the day trade this morning was pretty good. I always think it's going to hold, but then I'm always surprised by what these stocks can do. So I try to leave it to the algo to make certain decisions because it is back tested pretty nicely. So all right, so far, every short we've taken today has worked in the small cap lane, or it's working. So that's cool. Yeah, maybe Apple does hold here and catches up to the other blue chips. Difficult to say for sure, but it's a nice pullback to this breakout area, this initial breakout area from this huge trend break. Just pulled back to that on the earnings. Might actually be a great place to invest in some Apple. Alright, I see a trade recap on JPM to our trade. So believe this was the breakdown pullback. Very nice. I love it. Let me pull that one up. Let me see how you did your trend line on it. It looks good. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing something here. Ah. Okay, so your trend line goes back to June. I see. Yeah. Let me make this darker so it's easier to see. Pretty nice. You're using the 4-hour, I see. Yeah, so you'll see how this one, it tends to do the trend break. So this one was a nice trend break too. So this is over the time frame I kind of prefer. Over like a week or two, trend break. The one you did was really nice too, breakdown pullback. And so it had a nice red day on it, but then it didn't have follow through on the following day. So I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't have a second red day, just because that's kind of how it trades. It's just one of those stocks that grinds upwards. Occasionally it'll crack a little bit and then keep grinding back up. You know, unless there's a true trend reversal coming, which there could be, and then in that case, you know, it would go down to 270 or something crazy, but it's really hard to predict those bigger moves. SMXT, pretty incredible move. Sort of off the back of Verb yesterday. Intel just straight up today so far. Super nice for my swing. I'm in at 1950. Bought it yesterday. And really, this is the best setup in the market. So this is what it is. This is what we did on D-Dog. All the best trades from last month. Same exact plan. Get rid of this old line here. This was a call out 2. Again, this is why I like to stick around for, you know, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. But we had a nice breakout on Intel right here from the watch list. And it had some nice follow through, and then into earnings. You know, we don't hold through earnings, but it did crack on earnings. So that was a nice little swing trade on Intel. Predictable move. You make 5, 6, 7% on that in just a few days. And then we're out. We reposition for the next move. And now the next move is happening, and we're in that one too. So things are generally more predictable over shorter time periods. So it's easier to predict over a week or 2 or 3 than over 6 months or a year, usually. Obviously, there's a case for NVIDIA, where it just goes up. So, different scenario. And usually you're not going to predict a forever up move, you know, unless you're just investing. But as we can see, with this Tesla backtest, buying and holding is only up 68,000. Trading is up 600,000. So what does that tell me? STTK cracking, nice. That's what I like to see. Beautiful. We're in no rush to get out. Really in no rush. Lulu bloodbath since last earnings. Just checking in on the watch list here. Scott E. Yeah, Lulu was wild. Totally insane moves. I mean, honestly though, this is what we love to see. Ton of opportunity, ton of volatility, and it seems like with the trade deal stuff with China going on, everything with that back in this April timeframe, you know, anything you bought pretty much was gonna move up, and including Lulu. But then Lulu had these earnings, really bad earnings, and this is what happens on earnings. We've seen this over and over again. You can see it on this chart play out several times. But when you have this move up into earnings, guess what? Watch out. Especially on these, you know, more questionable stocks like Lulu with trade deal problems with China and things like that going on. But so if it's going up in earnings, it's probably going down on earnings. %100 of the time, 60% of the time. And now it's at the all-time, well, not all-time lows, recent lows. You know, it hasn't been this low since COVID, 2019 area. So it could also be an incredible buying opportunity for Lulu for a longer term hold, but I don't buy into these kind of downtrends. It needs to chill out. It needs to go sideways a bit. Let these moving averages catch up, you know. So one of the ideas with this sort of stock is when you have these sharp moves down, look at that, reclaims the moving average right there. Boom. That was a place to buy. Fails the moving average right here. Boom, that's a place to short. Back over the moving average. And this is kind of more choppy consolidation area. But whenever it's having big sharp moves, that's the place to be trying. Consolidation is a different story, so we like to see this sort of consolidation or sharp moves, which can have sharp moves back to the upside. So we're seeing a pretty sharp move now, but it's not as sharp as this other one that just played out. 52% drop, more than that. So 55% about move down on Lulu in, what is that, 8 months, 7 months. Okay, bounced. Now it's kind of doing the same thing again, but this time on earnings, bad earnings. So I don't know. Whenever these big companies too, they get 50% discounts off the top. Usually that's the place to buy. You know, unless they're going bankrupt, which I don't think Lulu is. They're definitely having some trouble right now. But that's an opportunity. Check out Coinbase. Coinbase, incredible pullback. Such a nice pullback. The question is the bubble market over? It feels like a bubble market. It feels like a lot of the stuff's in a bubble, but you know, these bubbles can keep going and going and going a lot longer than you think. So I'm kind of hoping Coinbase holds a dip here and just grinds back up to the breakout level, all-time highs, right around 430. Now it's 445-ish. If it can get back up there on a higher low, then this is going to take off. This could go to 6, 7, 800. You know, this could go to 1,000. And when I squish the chart like this, This is looking like a super huge potential breakout. As long as it holds a higher low right here and it continues to hold, hopefully consolidate into the end of the year near the highs, and then set up for some kind of PLTR style breakout. Pull up PLTR. PLTR is gapping up. But look at this breakout on PLTR. Exactly the same setup as Coinbase. From a technical standpoint, you've got the high, pull back, okay, great. Push back up to the high, pull back, okay. This is where we're at on Coinbase, right here. Right there. We just pushed to the high and pulled back some. That's it. If it comes back up, we can have this kind of move on Coinbase. Same as PLTR from the technical standpoint. Plus, it's crypto related, so obviously crypto needs to do well. Again, I'm looking at this on the weekly, so it needs to hold a low, higher low, and then grind its way back up. And it'll probably break out if it gets back up there again. Hopefully this year. All depends on Bitcoin. It's kind of a Bitcoin play. Sympathy, Bitcoin. JP Morgan, 289 now. Interesting. Take a look at it. Continues lower on your 4-hour trend breakdown pullback, following through really nicely. Let's take a look at Reddit. Reddit was up on earnings. Wow. Maybe a miss for a swing here, huh? We'll have to keep an eye on this. Hopefully it will pull back and give us a setup. Gotta make sure that one's on the watch list. All right. I gotta get going, guys. We've got a couple trades on STTK, AIP, short still, so we're gonna let those play out. I'll post some screenshots later in the Discord, but we'll be back tomorrow. Good luck, everyone. Don't do anything too crazy.